Have you ever spent 18 years cutting joints by hand and started to wonder if any of it would ever add up to anything? This is Greg Lindstrom. He's 36. He hand builds furniture in a barn in the Berkshires. The barn has been a shop since long before he was born. His grandfather Olaf opened Lindstrom & Sons Cabinetry in West Stockbridge, Massachusetts in 1958. His father Bill ran it until arthritis took his hands in 2014. Greg has worked it alone since. Shaker cabinets, Windsor chairs, hand-cut joinery. 12 to 15 pieces a year. Each one takes weeks. F-150 with 240,000 miles. Wife Lisa, 35, ICU nurse, part-time. Henry, 8, Annie, 5. Mortgage on an 1880 farmhouse. Wednesday at Annie's kindergarten career day, the other dads showed up in suits. The lawyer brought a gavel. Greg brought a sample dovetail joint. The kids went to the dentist. On the ride home, Henry said, "Mr. Park says when the robots come, they'll cut joints better than us." Annie at bedtime, "Daddy, are you a doctor?" Saturday, the LinkedIn message arrived. Production manager, Berkshire Cabinet Company, Pittsfield. 85 base, 401k, 5-year contract. 40 kitchens a year. CNC, assembly, veneered plywood. No outside contracting. Lisa read it twice. 40 kitchens, Greg. You'd see your kids at dinner. The acceptance email sat in his drafts all week. The next Saturday morning, he drove to Marcel's. Marcel Berkshires, 78. Apprenticed under Olaf from 73 to 85. Widowed 3 years. May gone since March 2023. He was in his workshop when Greg pulled in, sharpening a chisel against an oil stone. The shop smelled like linseed oil and shavings. He did not turn around when the truck door slammed. Greg stood in the open doorway. The wood stove was running. Behind Marcel, taped to the refrigerator with May's old magnets, was a sunflower drawing in purple crayon. Annie's, 3 years old. To Marcel, sorry, in Lisa's hand at the bottom. Marcel put the chisel down. Greg said the only thing he had come to say. "I got an offer." Marcel did not turn around. He reached into the front pocket of his canvas barn coat and took out a single chair spindle, 12 inches, hand-turned, white hickory, finely tapered at the waist. He set it on the workbench. "Take that with you. Look for where it goes. Then decide." Greg picked it up, lighter than he expected. "What is it?" "A spindle." Marcel turned back to the oil stone. Week 1. Greg tried the spindle in the Lennox Windsor armchair he was building. The chair called for maple. The spindle was hickory, wrong species, wrong taper. He set it on the windowsill. Wednesday night, Lisa at the kitchen table with the bills. "It's been 10 days. You haven't replied." "I will." "When?" He didn't answer. She stacked the bills and went upstairs. Week 2. He started seeing chairs. He stopped at Hadley's antique store on Main Street. The owner brought out a Windsor. "Pretty sure this one's a Lindstrom." Greg checked the underside. No L. The taper was off anyway. That Friday, Berkshire's hiring manager texted, "Need an answer by the Monday after next." The reply sat unsent. Week 3. Late October, the Sunday afternoon before the Monday deadline, Greg drove to the Kerrigan farm to deliver a cherry cutting board. Mrs. Kerrigan was on the phone in the back. She waved him into the kitchen. "Coffee's on." He sat at the oak table, 2 Windsor chairs across from him. Hickory spindles, black painted, worn down at the armrests by 60 years of elbows. The middle spindle had been broken once and taped, surgical tape gone gray. He turned the chair over. On the underside of the seat, L. 64 years in this kitchen. He could feel the next 64. He went to the truck, came back with the spindle. Mrs. Kerrigan was still on the phone. He pulled the tape off, eased the broken piece out, slid Olaf's spindle into the socket. The taper sat. He tapped the top with the heel of his palm. The chair held. He left the cutting board on the table and the broken pieces in his coat pocket. He did not say anything on the way out. Greg drove to Marcel's after dark. The kitchen light was on. Marcel was at the table with a bowl of soup. He set a chipped mug of coffee across from Greg without asking. Black, the way Greg had always taken it. Greg sat. His coat pocket was empty for the first time in 3 weeks. He told Marcel about the chair, the L, the taper. Marcel did not look surprised. Olaf turned it in '78, he said. Never put it in a chair. Found it in his shop the day he passed. After a long moment, Greg asked what he had never asked. How many chairs did he make? Marcel sipped his coffee, did not answer. You've sat in most of them, he said. You just hadn't looked. Greg set the mug down. You don't decide where the chairs go, Marcel said. You just keep turning. At the stop sign at the end of Marcel's road, Greg took out his phone. The reply was due Monday morning. He opened the draft and deleted it. The phone went back in his coat pocket, where the spindle had been. He drove home in the dark. He still had to face Lisa, but he could see what to say now. Second Saturday of November. No school. Greg was in the shop, sanding the seat of the Lennox armchair. Henry, 8, came along. Carhartt jacket too big, safety glasses on his nose. Henry tried to push the number 4 bench plane across a maple board. It caught. He pushed harder. It caught harder. Greg picked up a block plane and a paperback-sized scrap of pine, set them in front of Henry. This one's yours. What do I do? Take a curl off. Henry tried. The blade dug in. Tried again. Too light. The third pass tore. On the fourth, slow and even, the plane took a clean curl, thin enough to see kitchen light through. Greg watched, said nothing, went back to the chair seat. On the drive home, they passed the Kerrigan place. Greg did not slow. Henry, half asleep, did not see it. When they pulled into the driveway, Lisa was on the porch with Annie, watching her draw a sunflower for the 6th time that morning, getting it wrong, then almost right. You don't fill the kitchens. You just make the joints hold.